Hello, I would like to talk to you about God's will for our health and how the biblical view of health differs from the worldly view. After all, health is both a major theme in the Bible and a major concern in our lives. We are taught as Christians that we have to change our thinking according to God's will, and that includes our thinking about our health. The current Western thinking about health goes something like this. We are made as wonderful machines, but like all machines, we sometimes break down. When that happens, we need an expert to come and to replace the broken part and to put us back together. However, is that view consistent with the Bible? To answer that question, let's begin by looking at God's will for our health. After all, it says in Romans 12:2, "And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God." It is clear from the very beginning of the Bible that God provided Adam with the perfect setting for perfect health. It says in Genesis 2:8-10, "And the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. And out of the ground made the Lord God to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. The tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted, and became into 4 heads." God gave Adam the best possible food in the best possible environment. The garden was beautiful, and it was watered by 4 mineral-rich rivers. However, we know what happened. Adam and Eve were deceived by the serpent and decided to do things their own way instead of God's way. God's perfect world was corrupted by sin, and Adam and Eve were expelled from the garden. Thus began the spiritual war between health and life and disease and death. So, is it still possible to be healthy in a fallen world? Let's look at how God made us. It says in Psalm 139 verses 14-16, "I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvellous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. My substance was not hid from thee, when I was made in secret, and curiously wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. Thine eyes did see my substance, yet being unperfect, and in thy book all my members were written, which in continuance were fashioned, when as yet there was none of them." When you hear those words, do you feel God's care for you? Do you feel the wonder of God's creation of your body, soul, and spirit? Do you realize that you are 1,000,000 times more than just a machine that breaks down occasionally? You were made for life and health by a loving Father who provided everything you need for wholeness in body, soul, and spirit. To walk in that provision, you need to A. Change your thinking. B. Recognize that you need to take responsibility for your own health as part of your walk with God. And C. Dissociate yourself from the corruption of the world, both physically and spiritually. How has our world been corrupted? In many ways. But according to 1 Timothy 6:10, the love of money is the root of all evil. Where there are riches and the desire for more wealth, there is corruption. 2 good examples of this are the food industry and the pharmaceutical industry. They are run for the benefit of their shareholders and not for the benefit of your health. The food industry makes money if their food tastes good. And with good business sense, they use the cheapest ingredients possible. Salt, sugar, and artificial flavorings make food taste good, but they are not good for your health. The pharmaceutical industry makes money if you feel better as quickly as possible. This means overriding your body's natural pathways in order to reduce symptoms. They do not make money by addressing the root cause of the disease and by advising you to change your lifestyle. The examples I've just given you are examples of corruption in the world, and they stand in opposition to God's intention that you should live an abundant life. So the question is, are you putting anything into your body that comes from the corruption of the world rather than from the provision that God has made for your perfect health? If so, please think again about how your loving Father created you and how He provided everything that you need for your health. Then prayerfully ask God for wisdom in making changes to your lifestyle so that you can live in the abundant health that God always planned for you.